Lily's heart raced as she pushed through the crowd of relatives and friends. "Mom, I need to talk to you," she called out, her voice barely audible over the pre-wedding chatter. Aunt Sarah intercepted her, smiling. "Lily, honey, your mom's busy. Let's get you ready." "But it's important," Lily protested, trying to squirm away. "Not now, sweetie," Aunt Sarah said, leading her to the dressing room. Inside, Olivia stood before a mirror, adjusting her veil. She turned, beaming at Lily. "There's my beautiful girl." Lily opened her mouth to speak, but Olivia's friends swarmed around, gushing over the dress. The little girl's warnings were drowned out in the excitement. As the ceremony began, Lily fidgeted in her seat, her stomach in knots. She watched her mother walk down the aisle, radiant but oblivious to the truth. The minister's words blurred together as Lily's anxiety grew. James stood at the altar, smiling at Olivia. To everyone else, he looked like the perfect groom. But Lily knew better. If anyone can show just cause why this couple cannot lawfully be joined together in matrimony, let them speak now or forever hold their peace. Lily's heart pounded. It was now or never. She jumped to her feet. "Stop!" she shouted, her voice echoing through the church. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Olivia turned, shocked. "Lily, what are you doing?" "Mom, you can't marry him," Lily cried, tears streaming down her face. "James is lying to you." James paled, his smile faltering. "Lily, calm down. What are you talking about?" "I heard you on the phone." Lily pointed at James, her hand shaking. "You were talking to your wife. You said you miss your kids." The church erupted in murmurs. Olivia stared at James, confusion and hurt etched on her face. "James?" James stuttered, looking from Olivia to the crowd. I can explain," but his hesitation said everything. Olivia stepped back, her bouquet falling to the floor. "Is it true?" she whispered. James's face contorted. Without another word, he turned and ran down the aisle, pushing past shocked guests. Olivia stood frozen, watching as her fiancé fled the church. The once joyous atmosphere shattered into stunned silence. Lily rushed to her mother's side, wrapping her arms around her. Olivia, still in disbelief, barely responded. As reality set in, whispers turned to exclamations. Guests stood, unsure whether to chase after James or comfort the bride. Olivia's knees buckled. She sank to the floor, her white dress pooling around her. Lily held on tight, her small frame supporting her mother. "I'm sorry, Mom," Lily whispered, her voice choked with tears. "I tried to tell you." Olivia looked at her daughter, a mix of gratitude and devastation in her eyes. She pulled Lily close, clinging to her as if she were a lifeline. The church buzzed with shock and outrage. Family members approached cautiously, offering comfort and asking questions Olivia couldn't answer. As the reality of what just happened sank in, Olivia's shock gave way to tears. She sobbed openly, her carefully applied makeup streaking down her face. Lily stood guard, her young face set with determination. She had saved her mother from a terrible mistake, but at what cost? Outside, the sound of screeching tires signaled James's final escape. He was gone, leaving behind a devastated bride, a shaken community, and a little girl who had just changed everything. The perfect wedding had become a nightmare, and nothing would ever be the same. The church emptied quickly, leaving Olivia and Lily alone in the aftermath of the disastrous wedding. Olivia sat on a pew, her wedding dress crumpled around her, while Lily clung to her side. "Lily, sweetheart," Olivia said, her voice hoarse from crying. "Tell me everything you heard. Don't leave anything out." Lily took a deep breath. "I was playing in the study when I heard James on the phone. He was talking about missing his kids and how he'd be home soon. Then he said something about moving money around." Olivia's brow furrowed. "Moving money? What do you mean?" "He said he was setting up accounts that couldn't be traced. It sounded like he was hiding something," Lily explained. Olivia's mind raced. Could James have been involved in something illegal? Outside, the sound of raised voices filtered through the church windows. The community was in an uproar. Olivia's phone buzzed incessantly with messages and missed calls. "We should go home," Olivia said, standing up. She looked down at her wedding dress and laughed bitterly. "I need to change first." As they left the church, they were met with a mix of sympathetic looks and accusatory glares. Mrs. Thompson, their neighbor, approached with a concerned expression. "Olivia, dear, I'm so sorry," she said. "But how could you not have known? Surely there were signs." Olivia felt a flash of anger. "I didn't know, Margaret. I thought I knew him." Other neighbors chimed in, some offering support, others thinly veiled criticism. Olivia hurried Lily to the car, shielding her from the whispers and stares. At home, Olivia changed out of her wedding dress, hanging it in the back of her closet. She stared at it for a moment, a symbol of her shattered dreams. Lily appeared in the doorway. "Mom, are you okay?" Olivia forced a smile. "I will be, sweetie. Come here." She hugged Lily tightly. "I'm sorry I didn't listen to you earlier. You were so brave to speak up." Lily's eyes welled with tears. "I feel bad for ruining your wedding." "No, honey," Olivia said firmly. "You didn't ruin anything. You saved me from making a huge mistake." As the day wore on, Olivia's phone continued to buzz. She ignored most calls but answered when she saw it was her best friend, Rachel. "Liv, I've been trying to reach you," Rachel said. "How are you holding up?" I don't know," Olivia admitted. "I keep thinking this is a nightmare I'll wake up from." "Have you heard from James?" Rachel asked. "No, I've tried calling, but it goes straight to voicemail," Olivia replied. "I don't even know what I'd say if he answered." After hanging up, Olivia scrolled through her social media. The news had spread like wildfire. Comments ranged from sympathetic to accusatory. Some blamed her for not seeing the signs. Others praised Lily for her bravery. Olivia closed the apps, feeling overwhelmed. She needed answers. But where could she start? That night, after putting Lily to bed, Olivia sat at her kitchen table staring at James's photo. How could the man she thought she knew be a complete stranger? She opened her laptop and began searching James's name. Nothing suspicious came up immediately, but something nagged at her. What was he hiding? A notification popped up. A local news site had published an article about the wedding fiasco. Olivia's stomach churned as she read the sensationalized account. Determined to uncover the truth, Olivia created a document and began listing everything she knew about James. His hometown, his job history, his family, or what he'd told her about them. As she worked, a realization hit her. She didn't really know much about James's past at all. He'd always been vague, changing the subject when she asked for details. Olivia's resolve hardened. She would find out who James really was, no matter what it took. She owed it to herself, to Lily, and to any other women he might try to deceive in the future. With a deep breath, Olivia typed "how to hire a private investigator" into her search bar. It was time to uncover the truth about the man she almost married. As the clock struck midnight, Olivia closed her laptop. Tomorrow she would start her investigation in earnest. But for now, she needed to sleep and prepare for the challenges that lay ahead. She checked on Lily one last time before going to bed. Looking at her daughter's peaceful face, Olivia felt a mix of gratitude and determination. Whatever happened next, they would face it together. Olivia sat at her kitchen table, surrounded by notes and printouts. She'd been up since dawn, making calls and scouring the internet for any information about James. "Rachel, I need your help," Olivia said into her phone. "I'm trying to piece together James's past." There was a pause on the other end. "Liv, are you sure this is healthy? Maybe it's time to move on." "I can't," Olivia insisted. "I need to know the truth. Will you help me?" Rachel sighed. "Okay, what do you need?" Olivia spent the next hour coordinating with Rachel and a few other friends. Some were eager to help, others more hesitant, worried about Olivia's growing obsession. As Olivia worked, Lily appeared in the doorway, backpack in hand. "Mom, I'm ready for school." Olivia looked up, startled. She'd almost forgotten about the school run. "Right, let's go." At the school gates, Olivia noticed other parents whispering and glancing their way. Lily hunched her shoulders, clearly uncomfortable. "Have a good day, sweetie," Olivia said, hugging Lily. "Remember, if anyone gives you trouble, tell the teacher." Lily nodded silently and walked into the school building. Back home, Olivia dove back into her investigation. By midday, she had her first breakthrough. A friend in another state had found a news article about a man matching James's description, but with a different name. Excited, Olivia dug deeper. She uncovered more articles, each with a slightly different name but the same face. James had been busy, leaving a trail of broken hearts and empty bank accounts across multiple states. As she worked, Olivia's phone buzzed with a text from the school. Her heart sank as she read it. Lily was in the principal's office. There had been an incident with some classmates. At the school, Olivia found Lily sitting outside the principal's office, her eyes red from crying. "What happened?" Olivia asked gently. "They were saying mean things about you," Lily mumbled. "They called you stupid for not knowing about James. I got angry and pushed Tommy." Olivia's heart broke. She hugged Lily tightly. "Oh, sweetheart, I'm so sorry you're going through this." After a stern talk with the principal and a tearful apology from Lily to Tommy, they headed home. Lily was quiet in the car, staring out the window. "Do you want to talk about it?" Olivia asked. Lily shook her head. "I just want to go home." At home, Lily went straight to her room. Olivia stood outside the closed door, listening to muffled sobs. She felt helpless, Torn between comforting her daughter and continuing her investigation, Olivia's phone rang. It was Rachel. "Liv, I found something. You're not going to believe this." Rachel had discovered a pattern. In each city, James had used a variation of the same name. John James, James Johnson, Jimmy Johns. Always similar enough to be a coincidence. Always different enough to avoid detection. "He's been doing this for years, Liv," Rachel said. "There are at least 5 different identities I found so far." Olivia felt sick. How could she have been so blind? "Thanks, Rachel. I need to go check on Lily." She knocked on Lily's door. "Sweetie, can I come in?" No answer. Olivia opened the door to find Lily curled up on her bed, asleep. Her face was tear-stained, and she was clutching her favorite stuffed animal. Olivia sat on the edge of the bed, gently stroking Lily's hair. "I'm so sorry, baby," she whispered. "I'll make this right. I promise." As she sat there, Olivia felt a wave of nausea wash over her. She rushed to the bathroom, barely making it in time. As she rinsed her mouth, a terrifying thought struck her. She counted back the days in her head, then counted again. No, it couldn't be. But deep down, she knew. With shaking hands, Olivia drove to the nearest pharmacy. 20 minutes later, she stared at the 2 pink lines on the pregnancy test, her world spinning. She was pregnant, with James's child. Olivia sank to the bathroom floor, the test still in her hand. How could this be happening? Just when she thought things couldn't get more complicated, life threw her another curveball. She thought about Lily, already struggling with the fallout from the wedding disaster. How would she react to a new sibling? And what about James? Did he have a right to know? Olivia's mind raced with questions and fears. This changed everything. Her investigation into James's past wasn't just about closure anymore. It was about protecting her family, both present and future. As the reality of her situation sank in, Olivia made a decision. She would continue her investigation, but now with even more at stake. She needed to uncover the full truth about James, not just for herself and Lily, but for the new life growing inside her. With renewed determination, Olivia stood up. She had work to do. Olivia sat in her doctor's office, the confirmation of her pregnancy ringing in her ears. 6 weeks along. The timing couldn't be worse. "Do you want to discuss your options?" the doctor asked gently. Olivia nodded, her mind racing. She listened as the doctor outlined her choices, including termination. The word hung in the air, heavy with implications. At home, Olivia paced her living room. Keep the baby? End the pregnancy? Tell James? The questions swirled in her mind, each option seeming impossible. She picked up her phone, James's number on the screen. Her finger hovered over the call button. He had a right to know, didn't he? But what if he used this information against her? She put the phone down, undecided. "Mom?" Lily's voice startled her. "Are you okay? You look sick." Olivia took a deep breath. It was time. "Lily, sweetie, we need to talk." They sat on the couch, Lily's eyes wide with concern. Olivia took her daughter's hands in hers. "Lily, I'm pregnant," Olivia said softly. "You're going to have a little brother or sister." Lily's face went through a range of emotions, surprise, confusion, and finally, anger. "Is it James's baby?" Olivia nodded, her heart breaking at the pain in Lily's eyes. "I don't want it," Lily said, pulling her hands away. "Can't you get rid of it?" The word stung, but Olivia understood her daughter's pain. "It's not that simple, sweetie. This is a big decision. If you keep it, does that mean James will come back?" Lily asked, fear creeping into her voice. "No, honey. James doesn't know, and I'm not sure if I'm going to tell him," Olivia explained. Lily's brow furrowed. "But don't you have to?" Olivia sighed. "It's complicated, Lily. I need to think about what's best for all of us." The conversation left both of them emotionally drained. Lily retreated to her room, while Olivia returned to her internal debate. Days passed, and Olivia's decision wavered. One moment, she was scheduling an appointment to terminate the pregnancy. The next, she was looking at baby names online. Her friends noticed her distraction. "Liv, what's going on?" Rachel asked over coffee. "You seem off," Olivia almost told her, but held back. She wasn't ready for anyone else to know yet. As Olivia grappled with her decision, her investigation into James continued. She received a call from a private investigator she'd hired. "Ms. Harper, I found something," the investigator said. "There's a woman in the next town over. She had a relationship with James, or whatever his name was then. She lost everything." Olivia's heart raced. "Can you set up a meeting?" The next day, Olivia sat across from Sarah, a woman in her early 40s. The story she told was heartbreakingly familiar. "He swept me off my feet," Sarah said, her voice bitter. By the time I realized what was happening, he drained my bank accounts and disappeared. Olivia listened, her hand unconsciously moving to her stomach. I'm so sorry, she said. Sarah's eyes narrowed. There's more, isn't there? What aren't you telling me? Olivia hesitated, then decided to trust her instincts. I'm pregnant, she admitted. It's James's. Sarah's face paled. Oh, honey, you can't let him know. He'll use that baby to manipulate you, to get more money. He did the same to a woman in Ohio. The revelation hit Olivia like a truck. James had done this before, used a child as leverage. Her decision crystallized in that moment. I won't tell him, Olivia said firmly. He doesn't get to be part of this. As she left Sarah's house, Olivia felt a weight lift from her shoulders. She knew what she had to do. She would have this baby, raise it with Lily, and keep James far away from their lives. But life had other plans. As Olivia walked to her car, she noticed her neighbor, Mrs. Thompson, watching her from across the street. The old woman's eyes were fixed on Olivia's midsection, where her loose shirt had caught the wind, revealing the slight swell of her belly. Mrs. Thompson's eyes widened in recognition, and Olivia knew. The secret was out. By the time Olivia got home, her phone was buzzing with messages. Word spread quickly in small towns, and her pregnancy was now the hottest gossip. As she closed her front door, shutting out the world, Olivia leaned against it and closed her eyes. She had made her decision about the baby, but now she faced a new challenge. How would she navigate this pregnancy with the whole town watching, judging, and undoubtedly informing James? She placed a protective hand over her stomach. We'll figure this out, she whispered to herself, and to the life growing inside her. Somehow, we'll make it through this. With a deep breath, Olivia straightened up. She had a daughter to talk to, friends to call, and a future to plan. The road ahead would be tough, but she was ready to face it. For herself, for Lily, and for the baby that, despite everything, she had already begun to love. Olivia's phone rang early in the morning. It was the private investigator. Miss Harper, I found another victim. She's willing to meet you today. Hours later, Olivia sat across from Jennifer, a woman in her late 30s. Jennifer's hands shook as she spoke. James, or Michael as I knew him, he didn't just take my money, he destroyed my life. Jennifer explained how James had convinced her to invest in a fake company, draining her life savings and leaving her in debt. By the time I realized what happened, he was gone. I lost my house, my job, everything. Olivia listened, her heart sinking. I'm so sorry, Jennifer. Did you report him to the police? Jennifer nodded. They're investigating, but he's good at covering his tracks. It's not just small cons, Olivia. We're talking about large-scale financial fraud. As Olivia left the meeting, her phone buzzed with a message from her boss. We need to talk. Come to the office immediately. At work, Olivia found her boss waiting with a grim expression. Olivia, I'm sorry, but we have to let you go. The scandal, it's affecting our business. Clients are pulling out. Olivia felt the floor drop out from under her. But I didn't do anything wrong. I'm a victim here. Her boss shook his head. I know. But perception is everything in this business. I'm truly sorry. Devastated, Olivia cleaned out her desk. As she left, she could hear her coworkers whispering. The pregnancy rumors had clearly spread here too. On her way home, Olivia's phone rang again. It was Lily's school. Mrs. Harper, there's been an incident. Lily had an emotional breakdown in class. We need you to come pick her up. At the school, Olivia found Lily curled up in the nurse's office, her face streaked with tears. I can't take it anymore, Mom, Lily sobbed. They won't stop talking about us, about James, about the baby. They call me names. They say I'm going to be just like him. Olivia held Lily close, her own tears falling. I'm so sorry, sweetie. We'll figure this out, I promise. As they left the school, Olivia noticed the stares and whispers from other parents. The hostility was palpable. She hurried Lily to the car, her mind racing. Could they stay in this town? Was it fair to Lily? At home, Olivia sat at the kitchen table, her head in her hands. The weight of everything, the fraud, the pregnancy, the job loss, Lily's suffering, felt crushing. For a moment, she considered packing up and leaving town in the middle of the night. A knock at the door interrupted her thoughts. It was Mr. Anderson, their elderly neighbor. Olivia, he said gently, I brought you some casserole. Thought you might need a good meal. Surprised by this act of kindness, Olivia invited him in. Mr. Anderson sat at the table, his kind eyes filled with concern. This town can be harsh, but not everyone believes the gossip. Some of us understand you're a victim too. Olivia felt tears welling up. Thank you, she whispered. You have no idea how much that means. As they talked, Olivia's phone buzzed with a news alert. Her heart stopped as she read the headline. Local man wanted for multi-state financial fraud scheme. The article detailed James's crimes across several states using multiple aliases. The scale of his fraud was staggering. Millions of dollars, countless victims. Mr. Anderson read the article over Olivia's shoulder. My God, he muttered. You had no idea, did you? Olivia shook her head, still in shock. I thought I knew him. How could I have been so blind? As Mr. Anderson left, promising to spread the truth about James to counter the town gossip, Olivia felt a glimmer of hope. Maybe, with the truth out, things would get better. That hope was short-lived. As she closed the door behind Mr. Anderson, Olivia's phone rang. An unknown number. She answered cautiously. Olivia? The voice sent chills down her spine. James. Don't hang up, he said quickly. I'm back in town. I want to explain everything, make things right. Can we meet? Olivia's mind raced. James was here? Now? What should she do? Olivia? Are you there? James's voice crackled through the phone. Olivia took a deep breath, her hand instinctively moving to her stomach. The baby. Did he know? What would he do if he found out? I need to think about it, she stammered. I'll call you back. She hung up, her heart pounding. James was back. The truth was out. But Olivia knew this was far from over. As she looked towards Lily's room, then down at her slightly swollen belly, she realized the real battle was just beginning. Olivia paced her living room, debating whether to meet James. Her phone buzzed with a text from him. I'm at the park. Please, just give me a chance to explain. After arranging for Lily to stay with Mr. Anderson, Olivia headed to the park. She spotted James on a bench, looking disheveled and tired. Olivia, he said, standing up. Thank you for coming. Make it quick, James, Olivia replied coldly. James took a deep breath. I'm sorry. I know that doesn't begin to cover it, but I am. I've done terrible things and I'm ready to face the consequences. Olivia listened as James explained his past, his voice filled with apparent remorse. He spoke of a troubled childhood, bad decisions, and a spiral of lies he couldn't escape. I'm turning myself in, James said. But before I do, I needed to apologize to you. You and Lily deserved better. Olivia felt her resolve wavering. Could he be sincere? Why should I believe you now? You shouldn't, James admitted. But I'm hoping you'll give me a chance to prove I've changed. As they talked, Olivia noticed people watching and whispering. News of James's return spread quickly through the park. Their conversation was interrupted by a shout. Get away from her! Lily ran towards them, her face contorted with anger. Lily? What are you doing here? Olivia asked, shocked. Mr. Anderson had to leave, so I came to find you, Lily explained, glaring at James. What's he doing here? James tried to speak, but Lily cut him off. Haven't you heard us enough? Go away. Lily, please, James began. I'm trying to make things right. Right? Lily scoffed. You ruined everything, and now you're back, probably to hurt Mom and the... She stopped abruptly, realizing what she almost revealed. James looked confused. The what? Olivia intervened quickly. Lily, that's enough. Go wait by the car. As Lily stormed off, James turned to Olivia. What was she talking about? It's nothing, Olivia lied, her heart racing. James, I think you should go. James nodded slowly. I understand. But Olivia, I meant what I said. I want to make amends. As James left, Olivia noticed a crowd had gathered. Some people looked sympathetic, others angry. She heard snippets of conversation. Can you believe he had the nerve to show up? Maybe he's really changed. Poor Olivia, having to deal with this. Olivia hurried to her car where Lily waited, fuming. How could you talk to him, Mom? It's complicated, Lily, Olivia sighed. Let's go home. Over the next few days, the town buzzed with gossip about James's return. Opinions were sharply divided. Some believed in redemption, while others wanted him run out of town. Olivia received mixed messages from friends and neighbors. Some offered support, others criticized her for even speaking to James. At the grocery store, Olivia overheard two women talking. Did you hear? James is back and Olivia's pregnant. No, is it his? Must be. Poor woman, tied to that scoundrel forever now. Olivia froze. The pregnancy rumors had reached James's ears by now, surely. Her suspicions were confirmed that evening when James called. Olivia, is it true? He asked without preamble. Are you pregnant? Olivia closed her eyes, taking a deep breath. Yes, James. I am. There was a long pause. Why didn't you tell me? Given everything that's happened, can you blame me? Olivia replied. I understand, James said softly. But Olivia, I want to be there for you and the baby. I know I've made mistakes, but please let me try to make it right. Olivia felt torn. Part of her wanted to believe James, to give her child a father. But could she trust him? I don't know, James, she said finally. I need time to think. Take all the time you need, James replied. I'm not going anywhere. I want to prove to you, to Lily, to everyone that I've changed. I want to be a father to this baby. As Olivia hung up, she felt overwhelmed. James wanted to be involved. He seemed genuine. But was it all another act? Lily appeared in the doorway, her face worried. Mom? What's going on? Olivia patted the seat next to her. Come here, sweetie. We need to talk. As Lily sat down, Olivia took her hand. James knows about the baby. He wants to be involved. Lily's eyes widened in fear. No, Mom, you can't let him. I haven't decided anything yet, Olivia assured her. But we need to consider all our options. Lily shook her head vehemently. He'll just hurt us again. Please, Mom, don't let him back into our lives. Olivia hugged Lily tightly, feeling her daughter's tears soak into her shirt. She knew she had a difficult decision ahead. James wanted to be part of their lives, to be a father to the baby. He seemed remorseful and determined to change. But could she risk trusting him again? Could she subject Lily and her unborn child to potential heartbreak? As she held Lily, Olivia realized this decision wouldn't just affect her. It would shape the future of her entire family. She had to choose wisely for all their sakes. Olivia sat at her kitchen table surrounded by a sea of opinions. Her phone buzzed constantly with messages from friends and neighbors, all offering their thoughts on James's return. He deserves a second chance, one message read. Don't trust him, warned another. The pressure was overwhelming. Olivia found herself considering the possibility of giving James another chance. The idea of a complete family for her unborn child was tempting. Maybe people can change, she muttered to herself. Lily entered the kitchen, her face darkening as she saw her mother's contemplative expression. You're thinking about letting him back in, aren't you? She accused. Olivia sighed. Lily, it's complicated. The baby doesn't need him, Lily shouted. We don't need him. Lily, please try to understand. If you let him back, I'll run away, Lily threatened, her voice shaking. I mean it, Mom. I won't stay here if he's around. Olivia reached for her daughter, but Lily stormed out of the room. The sound of a slamming door echoed through the house. Later that day, Olivia met James at a local cafe. He looked better than before, clean-shaven, well-dressed. I'm so glad you agreed to meet, James said, his eyes warm. I want to be there for you and the baby, and for Lily too, if she'll let me. Olivia listened as James outlined his plans. He talked about therapy, about making amends, about being a good father. His words seemed sincere, but something nagged at Olivia. As they talked, Olivia noticed James glancing at his phone frequently. When she asked about it, he brushed it off. Just some work stuff, he said, with a smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. That evening, Olivia received a call from Mr. Anderson. Olivia, I need to talk to you. It's about James. They met in Mr. Anderson's garden. The old man looked troubled. I've been doing some digging, he said. Something doesn't add up about James's story. Mr. Anderson explained that he had a friend in law enforcement. James isn't just turning himself in, Olivia. He's trying to cut a deal, and he hesitated. There's something else. My friend found evidence of recent financial activity. Large sums of money being moved around. Olivia felt her heart sink. What are you saying? I'm saying be careful, Mr. Anderson warned. James might not be as reformed as he claims. Olivia returned home, her mind whirling. She found Lily in her room, packing a bag. What are you doing? Olivia asked, alarmed. Getting ready, Lily replied coldly. For when you choose him over me. Olivia sat on the bed, pulling Lily into a hug. Oh, sweetie, I would never choose anyone over you. As they talked, Olivia realized how much her indecision had affected Lily. The trust between them had been strained. I promise, Lily, no matter what happens with James, you and this baby are my priority, Olivia assured her. The next day, Olivia met with James again. This time, she watched him more closely. She noticed the way his eyes darted around, the slight tremor in his hands when she asked about his plans. James, she said carefully, are you being completely honest with me? About everything? James looked startled for a moment before regaining his composure. Of course, Olivia. I've told you everything. But Olivia saw it, the flicker of deceit in his eyes. It was the same look he had when he stood at the altar, just before Lily exposed his lies. As they parted, James touched Olivia's arm. I was thinking, he said, maybe we could set up a trust fund for the baby. I want to make sure our child is taken care of. Olivia nodded non-committally, but inside, alarm bells were ringing. A trust fund. Large sums of money being moved. It all started to fit together. That night, Olivia couldn't sleep. She tossed and turned, weighing her options. James seemed to be lying again, possibly planning something involving the baby. But if she cut him out completely, would she be denying her child a chance at a relationship with their father? As dawn broke, Olivia made her decision. It went against every instinct, against Lily's wishes, against Mr. Anderson's warnings. But she felt it was necessary. She picked up her phone and dialed James's number. "James," she said when he answered. "I've been thinking. I think we should try to make this work, for the baby's sake." There was a pause on the other end. Then, James's voice, filled with apparent joy. "Olivia, that's wonderful. You won't regret this, I promise." As Olivia hung up, she felt a mix of dread and determination. She was giving James a chance, but not for the reasons he thought. She needed to get closer, to figure out what he was really planning. She looked towards Lily's room, guilt washing over her. Her daughter would be furious when she found out. But Olivia was determined to protect both her children, even if it meant taking this risk. "I'm sorry, Lily," she whispered, "but I have to do this. I have to know the truth." Olivia placed a protective hand over her growing belly. Whatever James was planning, she would be ready. She had to be, for her family's sake. Weeks passed as Olivia and James attempted to rebuild their relationship. James attended every doctor's appointment, brought groceries, and even started helping around the house. His efforts seemed genuine. And slowly, the community's opinion began to shift. At the local diner, Olivia overheard conversations. "Maybe he's really changed," one patron said. "He seems devoted to Olivia and the baby," another agreed. But at home, the atmosphere was tense. Lily refused to speak to James and barely acknowledged Olivia. She spent most of her time in her room, door locked. One evening, Olivia knocked on Lily's door. "Sweetie, please come out. We need to talk." "Go away," Lily shouted. "Go be with your perfect new family." Olivia sighed, her hand resting on her growing belly. The stress of the situation was taking its toll on her pregnancy. Meanwhile, James continued his charm offensive. He volunteered at the local community center and made donations to the school. People started to warm up to him, but Olivia couldn't shake her doubts. She noticed James taking hushed phone calls, quickly ending them when she entered the room. When she asked, he'd brush it off with a smile. "Just work stuff, honey. Nothing to worry about." One Saturday, James suggested a family outing. Lily reluctantly agreed, if only to appease her mother. As they drove, James chatted animatedly about his plans for the baby's nursery. Suddenly, a car cut them off. James swerved sharply, nearly hitting a tree. Lily screamed as the car came to a stop. "Is everyone okay?" James asked, his voice shaking. Olivia nodded, her heart racing. She turned to check on Lily and froze. Her daughter's face was pale, her eyes wide with fear and suspicion. "You did that on purpose," Lily accused James. "What? No, of course not," James protested. "It was an accident." The drive home was silent. Olivia's mind raced. Was it really an accident? Or was Lily right? That night, Olivia overheard Lily on the phone with her friend. "I'm telling you, he tried to hurt us," Lily whispered. "Mom doesn't believe me, but I know what I saw." Olivia's heart sank. The trust between her and Lily was crumbling. As her due date approached, Olivia's doubts grew. James's behavior became erratic. He'd be loving one moment, distant the next. She caught him looking at her with an expression she couldn't quite place. Was it love or calculation? One afternoon, while James was out, Olivia decided to do some digging. She hesitated at his desk drawer, feeling guilty. But her need to protect her children outweighed her guilt. Inside, she found nothing incriminating. Just as she was about to give up, she noticed a false bottom in the drawer. Her hands shaking, she pried it open. What she found made her blood run cold. Financial documents, plans for accounts in the baby's name, notes about custody laws. It was all there, James's plan to use their child for his own gain. Olivia sat heavily in the chair, her mind reeling. How could she have been so blind? Again? She was so lost in thought she didn't hear Lily enter the room. "Mom? What's wrong?" Olivia looked up, tears in her eyes. "Oh, Lily, you were right. I'm so sorry I didn't believe you." Lily's eyes fell on the documents. Her face hardened as she read them. "I knew it," she spat. "He hasn't changed at all." Olivia reached for her daughter, but Lily backed away. "I'll handle this," Lily said, her voice cold. "Lily, no, we need to call the police," Olivia pleaded. But Lily was already out the door. Olivia struggled to her feet, her pregnant belly making quick movement difficult. She heard the front door open, James's voice. "Hey, Lily, where are you going in such a hurry?" Olivia's heart stopped. She heard Lily's angry voice, then James's confused response. She moved as fast as she could towards the sound. As she reached the living room, she saw Lily confronting James, waving the incriminating documents in his face. James's expression changed from confusion to anger. "Where did you get those?" he growled, advancing on Lily. "Stay away from her!" Olivia shouted. But she was too far away. James grabbed Lily's arm. Lily struggled, trying to break free. The documents scattered across the floor. Olivia watched in horror as the situation escalated. Her daughter was in danger, and it was all her fault. She had let James back into their lives, despite all the warnings. As James tightened his grip on Lily, Olivia knew she had to act fast. But what could she do? She was pregnant, outnumbered, and James was between her and the phone. In that moment, Olivia realized the true cost of her decision to trust James. Now, she had to find a way to save her daughter, an unborn child, from the man she had foolishly allowed back into their lives. The living room crackled with tension as Lily faced off against James. "I know what you're planning," Lily shouted, waving the documents. "You're just using Mom and the baby." James's face contorted with anger. "You little brat," he snarled, his gentle facade crumbling. "You've been a thorn in my side from the beginning." Olivia watched in horror as James tightened his grip on Lily's arm. "Let her go, James," she yelled, struggling to move closer. James turned to Olivia, his eyes cold. "You weren't supposed to find out yet," he said. "Not until everything was in place." "What are you talking about?" Olivia demanded, her hand protectively covering her belly. James laughed bitterly. "You think I came back because I cared? This baby is my ticket to a fortune. Once it's born, I'll have access to accounts, trusts, everything." Lily twisted in James's grip. "You're disgusting," she spat. James raised his hand, ready to strike Lily. Olivia lunged forward, her maternal instinct overriding her fear. "Don't you dare touch her." In the chaos, Lily managed to break free. She ran to the kitchen, grabbing the phone. "I'm calling the police," she threatened. James's eyes darted between Lily and Olivia. "You won't get away with this," he growled. He made a move towards Lily, but Olivia blocked his path. "It's over, James," Olivia said, her voice steadier than she felt. "We know the truth now." James's composure cracked completely. "You don't understand," he ranted. "I had it all planned out. The baby, the sympathy from the community, the financial schemes. It was perfect." As James raved, revealing the full extent of his plans, Olivia felt a mix of disgust and relief. She had been right to doubt him, but wrong to give him a chance at all. Lily's voice cut through James's tirade. "The police are on their way," she announced, her eyes never leaving James. James lunged for the door, but Olivia, summoning strength she didn't know she had, grabbed his arm. "You're not going anywhere," she said. The next few minutes were tense. James alternated between threats and pleas, trying to manipulate Olivia and Lily one last time. But they stood firm, Lily guarding the door while Olivia kept James in check. When the police siren sounded outside, James made a final desperate attempt to escape. He shoved Olivia, causing her to stumble. Lily screamed, rushing to her mother's side. The police burst through the door, quickly subduing James. As they handcuffed him, James locked eyes with Olivia. "This isn't over," he threatened. "That baby is mine too. I'll be back." As the police led James away, Olivia hugged Lily tightly. "I'm so sorry," she whispered. "You were right all along." Lily hugged her back, tears streaming down her face. "I was so scared, Mom. I thought he was going to hurt you and the baby." The police took statements from Olivia and Lily, documenting James's threats and the evidence of his schemes. The officers assured them that James would be held without bail, given his history of fraud and his recent threats. As the chaos subsided, Olivia sat heavily on the couch, the stress of the confrontation taking its toll. Lily sat beside her, holding her hand. "What do we do now?" Lily asked, her voice small. Olivia squeezed her daughter's hand. "We move forward," she said. "Together." A knock at the door startled them. It was Mr. Anderson, concern etched on his face. "I saw the police," he said. "Are you both all right?" Olivia nodded, too exhausted to speak. Mr. Anderson entered, taking in the scattered papers and the disheveled state of the room. "James?" he asked simply. "Arrested," Lily replied. "He showed his true colors." Mr. Anderson nodded grimly. "I'm sorry I couldn't do more to warn you," he said to Olivia. "You did warn me," Olivia said. "I just didn't listen well enough." As Mr. Anderson helped them tidy up, Olivia felt a wave of gratitude for their neighborly ally. In the midst of all the betrayal, it was comforting to know they weren't alone. Later that night, as Olivia tucked Lily into bed, her daughter looked up at her with worried eyes. "What if James comes back?" she asked. Olivia sat on the edge of the bed, stroking Lily's hair. "The police will make sure he stays away," she assured her. "And we'll be more careful from now on. No more trusting people too easily." Lily nodded, but Olivia could see the fear lingering in her eyes. It would take time for both of them to feel safe again. As Olivia left Lily's room, she paused in the hallway, her hand on her swollen belly. James's threats echoed in her mind. The baby was due in just a few weeks. What if James made good on his promise to return? Olivia shook her head, pushing away the fear. They had survived James's deception and manipulation. They would survive whatever came next too. She walked to the window, looking out at the quiet street. Somewhere out there, James was in a cell, no doubt plotting his next move. But here, in this house, Olivia and Lily were safe. For now. Olivia turned away from the window, a new determination settling over her. James may have shaken their world, but he hadn't broken them. Whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, stronger for having weathered this storm. As she headed to bed, Olivia made a silent promise to her unborn child and to Lily. No matter what James might try in the future, she would protect her family. The truth was out, and this time, she wouldn't let herself be fooled again. The courthouse buzzed with tension as Olivia took the stand. James sat at the defense table, his eyes fixed on her growing belly. The prosecutor's voice cut through the murmur. "Mrs. Harper, can you tell us about the events of that night?" Olivia recounted James's threats and manipulations, her voice steady. As she spoke, she noticed the jury's sympathetic glances. James's lawyer tried to paint her as unstable, but Olivia held firm. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed. "Mrs. Harper, do you fear for your safety?" one shouted. Olivia pushed through, Lily close by her side. At home, they found their porch covered in casseroles and apology notes from neighbors. "We're so sorry we doubted you," one read. Olivia appreciated the gesture, but hesitated to let her guard down. That night, Lily knocked on Olivia's bedroom door. "Mom, can I sleep here tonight?" Olivia patted the bed beside her. As Lily curled up, Olivia felt a renewed sense of protectiveness. "We're going to be okay," she whispered, more to herself than to Lily. The next morning, Mr. Anderson arrived with news. "The community wants to hold a support rally for you," he said. Olivia hesitated, remembering how quickly opinions had shifted before. "I don't know," she said. "It's hard to trust." Mr. Anderson nodded understandingly. "Take your time. We'll be here when you're ready." As weeks passed, Olivia and Lily settled into a new routine. They attended therapy together, slowly rebuilding their trust. Olivia found a part-time job working from home, determined to provide for her family independently. One afternoon, a letter arrived from James's lawyer. Olivia's hand shook as she read it. "He's threatening to sue for custody," she told Lily, her voice tight. Lily's face hardened. "He can't do that. He's in jail. Apparently, he thinks he can," Olivia said, her mind racing. She called her lawyer immediately, setting up a meeting to discuss their options. The threat of James's potential involvement in the baby's life hung over them like a dark cloud. Olivia found herself jumping at every noise, fearing James had somehow found a way to reach them. Despite the stress, Olivia felt a growing strength within herself. She attended birthing classes, researched child custody laws, and even started a support group for women who had experienced similar betrayals. "You're different now, Mom," Lily observed one evening. "Stronger." Olivia smiled, realizing Lily was right. The old Olivia might have crumbled under the pressure, but not anymore. As her due date approached, the community rallied around them. Neighbors offered to set up a security system for their house. Olivia's boss assured her that her job was secure no matter how long she needed for maternity leave. Even with this support, Olivia remained cautious. She and Lily developed a code word for emergencies and created a safety plan just in case. One night, unable to sleep, Olivia found Lily in the nursery, arranging stuffed animals. "I want the baby to feel safe," Lily explained. Olivia hugged her daughter, marveling at her resilience. "We'll make sure of it," she promised. The next day, Olivia met with her lawyer to discuss James's custody threat. "He doesn't have a leg to stand on," the lawyer assured her, "but he can make things difficult." As they strategized, Olivia felt a sharp pain in her abdomen. She brushed it off as Braxton Hicks contractions, but as the meeting progressed, the pain intensified. "Are you all right?" her lawyer asked, noticing Olivia's discomfort. Olivia tried to stand, but another wave of pain hit her. I think I'm in labor," she gasped. The lawyer sprang into action, calling for an ambulance. As they waited, Olivia's mind raced. It was too early. She was only 34 weeks along. In the ambulance, Olivia clutched her phone, leaving a frantic message for Lily. The paramedic looked concerned as he checked her vitals. "Your blood pressure is very high," he said. "We need to get you to the hospital quickly." As they sped through the streets, sirens blaring, Olivia felt a mix of fear and determination. This wasn't how she had planned for her baby to enter the world, but she would face whatever came next. The hospital doors burst open as they rushed Olivia into the maternity ward. Doctors and nurses swarmed around her, their voices urgent. "Preeclampsia," she heard one doctor say. "We need to deliver now." As they prepped her for an emergency C-section, Olivia thought of Lily, of the baby, of the life they had fought so hard to protect. She silently vowed to keep fighting, no matter what complications arose. The last thing Olivia heard before the anesthesia took effect was a nurse's reassuring voice. "We've got you, Mrs. Harper. You and your baby are going to be fine." As Olivia slipped into unconsciousness, her last thought was of the strength she had discovered within herself. Whatever happened next, she would face it head-on, for herself, for Lily, and for the baby who was about to join their family. The operating room buzzed with activity as the doctors worked to bring Olivia's baby safely into the world while fighting to keep Olivia stable. Outside, Lily arrived, breathless and scared, waiting for news about her mother and soon-to-be sibling. The next few hours would be critical for the Harper family. The hospital corridor echoed with the sound of rushing footsteps as Lily paced back and forth. Hours had passed since Olivia was rushed into emergency surgery, and still no news. Suddenly, a doctor emerged from the operating room. "Are you Lily?" he asked. Lily nodded, her heart racing. "Your mother is stable, but we need your help. The baby is having trouble breathing, and we think hearing a familiar voice might help. Would you be willing to talk to your sibling?" Without hesitation, Lily followed the doctor. In the NICU, she approached the incubator where her tiny brother lay. "Hi there," she whispered, her voice shaking. "I'm your big sister, Lily. Mom can't be here right now, but she loves you so much. We both do. You need to be strong, okay?" As Lily continued to talk, the baby's vitals began to stabilize. The nurses exchanged amazed glances. "Keep talking," one encouraged. "It's working." For the next hour, Lily stayed by her brother's side, telling him stories and promises of the life that awaited him. Slowly but surely, the baby's condition improved. Meanwhile, Olivia regained consciousness. "My baby," she mumbled. A nurse quickly updated her on the situation. Tears of relief streamed down Olivia's face when she heard how Lily had stepped up. As Olivia recovered, news of the dramatic birth spread. The community rallied, offering support and well wishes. Even in her hospital bed, Olivia felt stronger than ever. However, their peace was short-lived. 2 days after the birth, a commotion erupted in the hospital lobby. James, out on bail pending his appeal, had arrived demanding to see his child. Security quickly intervened, but not before James made a scene. "That's my son," he shouted. "I have rights." Olivia, hearing the commotion, felt a surge of protective anger. She asked a nurse to bring Lily and the baby to her room, determined to keep them safe. When the hospital administration approached Olivia about James's demands, she stood firm. "He has no rights here," she stated, "and I have a restraining order." James's attempt backfired spectacularly. His outburst violated the terms of his bail, and he was immediately taken back into custody. This time, there would be no chance of release. As the dust settled, Olivia held her son for the first time, Lily by her side. "What should we name him?" Olivia asked. Lily thought for a moment. "How about Noah? It means rest and comfort." Olivia smiled. "Noah it is. Noah Harper, our new beginning." Weeks later, with Noah healthy and strong, Olivia and Lily prepared to leave the hospital. As they packed, Olivia made a decision. "There's somewhere we need to go before we head home," she told Lily. They drove to the cemetery where Lily's father was buried. Standing before the gravestone, Olivia cradled Noah while Lily held her free hand. "I wish you could see us now," Olivia said softly. "We've been through so much, but we're stronger for it. I promise to raise our children with the love and honesty you always valued." Lily wiped away a tear. "I miss you, Dad, but I'm going to be the best big sister ever. I'll make you proud." As they left the cemetery, Olivia felt a sense of closure. The past couldn't be changed, but the future was full of possibility. Back home, as they settled into their new routine, Olivia couldn't shake the feeling that her experience could help others. she reached out to her therapist with an idea for a support group for women who had faced similar betrayals. Your story could inspire so many, her therapist encouraged. You've shown incredible resilience. Olivia started small, with just a few women meeting in her living room. But word spread quickly, and soon the group outgrew her home. The local community center offered a space, and Olivia found herself leading weekly meetings. We're not victims, Olivia would tell the group. We're survivors, and together, we can rebuild our lives. As Noah grew, Olivia watched Lily blossom into her role as a big sister. The bond between them strengthened each day, built on a foundation of trust and open communication. One evening, as Olivia tucked Lily into bed, her daughter asked, "Mom, are you happy?" Olivia paused, considering the question. "You know what? I am. We've been through a lot, but look at us now. We're happy, we're healthy, and we have each other. That's all that matters." Lily smiled, satisfied with the answer. "I'm happy too," she said, "and I'm not scared anymore." As Olivia closed Lily's door, she felt a profound sense of peace. They had weathered the storm and come out stronger. Whatever challenges the future held, they would face them together. In the nursery, Olivia lifted Noah from his crib, holding him close. "We've got quite a story to tell you when you're older," she whispered. "But for now, just know that you're loved and you're safe." Looking out the window at the quiet street, Olivia felt ready for whatever came next. James was out of their lives for good, and the future stretched out before them, full of promise. The Harper family had been tested, but they had emerged victorious. With love, honesty, and trust as their foundation, they were ready to write the next chapter of their lives.